And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show, and this is going to be episode 408. So I hope you guys had a great day, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK show, I am going to be having a conversation with Jeff D, and this is going to be his first appearance on the show. So nice to meet you, man. Did you have a good day?
Yeah, I had a great day, and I appreciate the invite. I took like a very, very brief look at your stuff and was like, hey, this guy seems cool enough. I'll be happy to have a conversation.
Yeah, and was the first reaction like, hey, this guy's tall, rich, white, and good-looking and charismatic? That's the first thing that went through your mind.
Immediately. Yeah, no, that was it. I mean, for me with the content stuff, I mean, I've had a lot of people reach out to me over time, and so some of them have been kind of like bait traps where somebody just wants to be adversarial, but then but they don't let you know that, like they act cool, and then it's like an ambush that you walk into. So when it's a cold, just absolutely cold out of nowhere, I'm like, all right, well, let me just look at their content first and then kind of judge there. And like I said, I just grabbed 3 random videos or streams and went to the middle, listened for a few minutes each. And I was like, I don't see anything wrong here. I'll go on the show. That's it.
You know what's crazy? I should have did that more back in the day. I just went in blind. Shit was wild back in the day because I feel like people that don't actually podcast, they say things that you're like, that's not how that goes. Like, I know people didn't like the Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes podcast that he did with him.
Right.
But what a lot of people don't get in podcasting is that, you could ask hard questions and the person could have a certain reaction to them, or they just say, hey, I'm not going to comment on that. Or there's another style, as I've told you guys, when it comes to like a lot of things when we discuss these kind of topics here on the show, that 2 things can happen at once. 2 things can be true at once. I could ask you hard questions and you just give me everything, or you go, oh, I'm not going to answer that, dude. I'm not black and I was not at the convenience store at 9 p.m. Friday night, dude. I didn't shoot. I done not shoot that guy. Or you have the other approach, people, which is, I forgot this saying. We used to have it growing up, which was basically, if you give a person enough rope, they'll hang themselves. Which means, guys, if you just give them just enough, if you nudge them just enough, they will just go and give you everything. And that's what Tucker Carlson did when he had Nick Fuentes on. He didn't need to press him on anything because Nick just kind of told him everything he wanted to. Why would I press someone hard on anything when they're just telling me everything I want to know for me just asking just sort of basic surface level questions,
Mm-hmm.
So I want you guys to understand, like, there's different ways of doing things. There's different methods of doing things. It's not just basically, hey, this is the only way you should do these things. It's like, because if that were the case, then no one would do anything because there's no fun in that. Where's the fun in that? We're only having one way you do anything, Yeah,
absolutely. I agree. And that's a prime example. The Fuentes thing went crazy, and all these people were saying they were condemning Tucker Carlson, and they're condemning Nick Fuentes, and they're condemning anyone who thought it was good. And I thought it was funny because I was talking about this with President Trump earlier, is that he has all these friends that are very high level in like the pro-Zionist movement, and all of them absolutely hate Tucker Carlson, absolutely hate Nick Fuentes, and they all try to say that Trump is like their boy, like he does everything we want, we have the exact same goals. And then when they asked, hey Trump, what do you think of this, Tucker Carlson Fuentes interview, whatever, and he's like, just watch it yourself and make your own decision. I mean, it's free speech, whatever. So it just like kind of in their mind they got backstabbed, but they're not going after Trump over it. They're going after still the Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and all these people. And I'm very much like the conservative leaning, libertarian, free thinking, conspiracy theorist gamer on the internet. So like for me, I don't care. Like anyone can say what you want to say, go into your conspiracy theories, share your side of the story or how you feel some conspiracy might be happening. And if you don't like it, just go somewhere else. Like that's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah. And since this is your first appearance on the show, and just in case you have any second or third appearances, on the show later on down the line. We can already get the origin story out of the way. That way you don't have to explain your origin story. It's already in this one episode. If someone says, hey, who's that guy? Who's that rich, successful white guy? I can just point him to this episode.
Well, all right, we'll go all the way to the beginning. So first, I was a glint in my father's eye. And
at some point, he did come out.
At some point, it came out. But yeah, so I was born in Rochester, New York, and my parents were teenagers, and my grandparents were they were immigrants from Mexico, actually, my mom's side, and then my grandparents on my dad's side are German and different European mutt, basically. But my mom's parents are like a Native American, like Aztec Indian from Mexico, and then a Spaniard from Mexico. So they are like the actual definition of Mexicans. Just so that's out of the way. And then I moved to Georgia when I was 16 years old. I grew up in Rochester in one of the worst parts of one of the worst ghettos in the country, basically. And I have a lot of family that's still there, and they're cool people, but I'm not big on the trap and the ghetto and all that shit. So It's very funny because there's people that they're always trying to like act hard and hood and whatever. And I'm the absolute opposite of that. But like when I was a toddler, I almost got shot a whole bunch of times, and the people in every direction house were selling drugs. And the street I lived on was called Heroin Alley by the cops. So it was kind of just a generically like first world poverty that I started in. And then we kind of got our stuff together. My parents grew up a little bit because they were like 17, 18 when I was born. And then we got out of there. And at that point, because exiting the trap, my dad was married to my mom, which is great. But because of that, they didn't qualify for all the government benefits. So the money it cost to get out of the hood made it so we can no longer afford food, but they made too much money as a married couple to qualify for any assistance. So we like legitimately starved for a period of time. And the only reason I'm bringing all this up is because like the origin story of I had a very, very mixed like perspective because I started in that. And then once they figured their life out, it was like a very normal middle class upbringing for like 5 years, from like 9 to 14 ish. And then my parents had kind of a nasty divorce. And then I went to 4 high schools in 4 years as that was going on. And so then I had that kind of, whole perspective. And then by the time I was like early or mid teenager, I was like, I don't want to do any of this shit. I'm actually going to skip all that, and I'm going to be Ned Flanders when I grow up. I'm going to be like the absolute like normal guy, financially secure. I married my high school sweetheart. I like walked the soles out of my shoes and saved every penny. And when I was 20 years old, we got married, and 2 months later bought a little lake house in Georgia. And then I built the white picket fence around it, and we started having kids. Now we have 5 kids, but basically,
you heard of the protection plan?
The what?
You heard of the protection plan?
There's there's options out there, but my grandfather had 13, the Mexican one. So
good Lord,
you can't even live up to that.
It's got like 2 starting lineups on a basketball team.
Yeah, and a bench. Exactly. So
good
anyway,
Lord.
So me, we have 5, and I feel like by today's standards, that's like 13, like in the inflation or deflation with the children's situation nowadays. But anyways, it's funny to be looked at as zoo animals when our family just like goes out into town and everyone's like, we don't see that around anywhere anymore, unless you're in like Mormon country.
Because you said you live in Georgia, right?
Georgia, yeah.
Georgia?
I live in Georgia.
Oh God.
Down in Georgia. Yeah, I've been here since I was 16 years old. So I came from Rochester, New York.
Yeah.
And then moved to Georgia. My wife grew up on like a little horse farm in South Georgia. Not so that far south. A what?
So your wife had the Clark Kent upbringing.
Yeah, yeah, Smallville. Yep, pretty much. I mean, she had the little mini horse farm. Her parents raised horses, but it wasn't like the stall boarding horse people, the like uppity equestrian people. She was like the cleans the shit and bales, throws the hay bales around and did all the gardening and shooting guns when she was like 2 years old and like all that kind of stuff. So she's like a proper country girl. Um, but yeah, so I had all that going, and then I had the family with the American dream. In my opinion, that's all I wanted. It's like I had nobody coming after me because of debt or whatever. I had money in the bank, and it was growing every month, and my little family was there. And then COVID hit, and like COVID hit, and my little kingdom got destroyed because of stupidity from politicians. And so when they started doing their thing, I started to speak out about it. I started to research about it, and then I started to get censored online. And so the more I got censored, I have a rebellious spirit. So I would push back, and then they would push me, and then I would push back more. And so it was like me versus. I was like Dale Gribble, the
Mhm.
from King of the Hill. It's just like me versus the man, and like no one else knows about this interaction, but it's like me and then the federal agent that's like trying to look at my stuff and then censor whatever. And so one day I actually had I posted my daughter's first day of kindergarten on Facebook. It was just a picture of her with her little backpack, the cutest thing you'd ever see.
Yeah.
And then it just said, denied, your account is locked for 30 days because of posting misinformation. And it was like a small clip I posted the day before from a doctor. And it was like a doctor talking about probably heart risk with like the shots or whatever.
Mhm.
And at that point, I was just like, "That's it." And so I snapped. And this area used to be my wife's walk-in closet, and I just turned it into this studio, and I started making all this crazy content and wild stuff, and it just expanded and expanded into podcasting. And I've been a gamer since I was 4 years old. So I've always been into gaming.
Okay.
And so now it's just cool because a couple days a week I will have gaming live streams. And so the people who are with me while I'm going through news and culture and current events and whatever all week, they will then be able to hang out just in like a community event of me gaming. So it's like not what I use to get famous or whatever, but it's like absolutely a skill that I've had since forever. So I can put on a show for people a little bit.
So you said you were a gamer since you were like 4 years old. What was the first system you had?
The first system I ever played was my uncle's system. He just got the brand new Nintendo 64. So that was the first one I ever played, but it was funny because then I'd go over to my cousin's house
Hmm.
and I'd play his system, which I thought was so much cooler, and it was the Super Nintendo. So it was like I go back a generation, but I thought it was like this is where it's at, the Super Nintendo. And so
Shit, mine was a handheld. I didn't even have the Game Boy Color. We got it from a teacher. It was a
oh
black
man,
guy. We got the non Game Boy Color. That was the first any game anything I ever had. And then after that, we were given an NES. Man, to be fair, they still give those out, which is actually still insane. The only games I ever played on there was like getting Mario, Super Mario Brothers, Mario Brothers 3, and I played Duck Hunt on that. But then
nice.
later on, we got a Game Boy Advance, and it was a Game Boy SP, and I think the very first console we ever owned, I think was like that we actually went and bought was I think a GameCube or something like that. That's probably
Okay.
the first one I actually really love. It's still to this day, so many awesome classic games on that fucking system. I think
Oh yeah.
it's weird how people said it wasn't good, but you look back in the library, it had some banger games on there,
Yeah.
honestly.
I with my younger sisters, I remember one day we pulled an all-nighter playing Super Monkey Ball on GameCube, where you're just like trying to not fall off the edge of the map and go to the it's like a maze. So you have a maze, and then you could play I think up to 4 players, and it would just be turn based. And if you advance to the next one, you're good. If you fail, then you have to retry when it's your turn again. So you'd be trying to like race to the top levels. and it was hard. It got crazy because you have like these little
Yeah.
passages, and you're like, if my thumb moves at all,
Yeah.
I'm falling off and starting over.
I
Yeah,
will say, like, graphics for games back in the day, yeah, I wouldn't say they look as impressive to the games that have better graphical capabilities now with technology advance and stuff like that. But, those games, I enjoy playing them. And, when you're like that young, graphics don't matter to you anyway. We know that
no,
doesn't matter because Minecraft is one of the biggest gaming franchises ever that has the
yeah,
shittiest graphics ever. And that the graphics Minecraft has, that's the graphics that games had when they were first coming out for when I was buying them. So
yeah.
I think this whole like big argument about better graphics is kind of silly because gaming wouldn't be where it was at if it wasn't for those games that had the more older style graphics to it, you know?
Right. Well, also we have to be honest here. A lot they have hijacked the improvement in technology.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah.
so we have all of these new graphics so that we can make the ladies uglier in all of these new games. I was just like, bro, like
That's
what's
their
going
excuse.
on? I mean, I played Metal Gear Solid 2,
Hmm.
and like I remember like secondhand falling in love with Raiden's girl, you know what I mean? Like that kind
Yeah.
of thing. And then I remembered Snake Eater, Eva on the motorcycle. Like, bro, forget about it. And do you remember? I mean, you may not have played that one, but it
Because
was the lady who was like the other spy, and she
you played the
drove
original
around on a
Tomb Raider.
motorcycle. I did not. I did not play the Tomb Raider games.
It's because you weren't a nerd. Only like literal nerds who never got girls played that, from what I know.
I was big into. I'm trying to think from back then. I played SOCOM a lot. I played I played some of the sport games. I played some Mortal Kombat. I played, yeah, all those late the Metal Gear games, some Maddens,
Do
some
you remember
sport
when
games.
because gaming and movies felt like they were intertwined for like a lot of these properties. Like you would get a new movie or something, they would always have a movie tie-in game that would come out for it. Now we don't even really get that anymore. It's like the movie comes out, well, there's nothing
Yeah,
tied to it. I remember there was like
yeah,
a lot of movies that would come out. You'd always get a video game tie-in
and they were
game.
trash, but you still would try
They
them.
were
I
always
remember
they were always bad. It's crazy
always
how they're
bad.
yeah, it's actually I would like to see the track record of any of them are actually genuinely good, and it's probably not a lot. There's probably
Yeah,
like 2 out of like 500 of those video game tie-in games for movies that were coming out. Fucking hell. The superhero ones were always trash. Except
oh,
for
the
like
yes.
Spider-Man
Two.
2. Spider-Man 2 was like,
Yes,
yeah, that was the
Spider-Man
best one.
2 was great. That was a great one on PS2, man. I love that
Yeah,
game.
I played the hell out of that game.
Yeah,
I beat it, restarted over again. Man, the
yep.
the soundtrack, the fucking story, oh, so good. And
And
what's
I
crazy is that game pioneered the web slinging that's in Spider-Man games now.
100% because I played the first one, and the first one you're still shooting right into the sky and grabbing onto nothing. You're above
Call
the
it gliding.
rooftops,
They were
and it's
gliding in
just
the air.
like, what is this? Like, somebody explain the
And what's
mechanics here.
crazy
The
is
Nimbus cloud is just like so sticky, bro.
that's not even like out of all the video game tie-in games that came out for movies, that's not even like an awful game. It's just the swinging mechanic makes it so wonky
Yes.
when you're actually playing it.
Yeah.
What
The
was crazy
first
is
one.
what's crazy
Yeah.
in Spider-Man 2, what's crazy. Spider-Man 2, the video game, and Spider-Man 2, the movie are like the peak right there.
Yep.
Then Spider-Man 3 comes out for the game and the movie, and
Hmm.
both are letdowns compared to the second one. I find it
Yeah.
very, very interesting where that happened.
I do agree. I mean, they just tried too much stuff, I think, with Spider-Man 3. Having him be the weird, quirky, dancing emo guy and like that. It's just they were trying to cram all the different stuff into one movie, I think was the problem. But
Yeah. Do
the
you remember
second
that
one was just
scene?
peak, dude.
Do you remember that scene in the video game where he's trying to save that woman and she hits a fail scene where he flops to the ground and the lady's like, "I'm going to die." This will never not be one of the funniest video game cutscenes ever.
So it's if you fail, then she knows she's dead. Like that's I
Oh
think
god.
my favorite video game, just like faux pas, like bad thing. I saw a meme about it, and like I was busting a gut, man. It was like when you get to heaven and you're talking to Saint Peter, and then he just like shows a picture, and it's of the little penguin getting thrown off in Mario 64. Like, because what would happen is like you had 20 options or 10 options to beat the level to get a star. And so these damn penguins would be running away from you to have to like bring them to mom. And
Mhm.
so if you weren't trying to get a star that way, people would kind of revenge murder the penguins because they were annoyed. So you would just walk up to the penguin when you weren't trying to beat the round that way, grab it, and then just chuck it off the map. And it's just like, and yeah, it's terrible. But it was funny, and you did it like every single time. So there's just the meme of like you get to heaven, and then like St. Pete's just looking at like you with your arm outstretched and the penguin getting launched off the map, and it's like, yeah, you're not getting in, bro. You can't do that.
So, are you more of a Xbox or a PlayStation guy?
I am definitely an Xbox guy
Okay.
because I became much more casual as I got older. So I played PlayStation 2, I played PlayStation 3, and then once I got to PlayStation 3, I migrated over to Xbox. And then I've just stuck with Xbox since, which has been just two Xboxes. So since 20, see, I bought in 2009 a 360. And then in 2017,
Man, wasn't
I
that a
got
great
the,
console?
yeah, I know. I know.
They don't make them. You know, people say like the older people say they don't make them like they used to. They
No,
don't make game
they
consoles like
don't.
that anymore.
They don't. Yeah. So I had that for like, 8 years. And then I got the Xbox One S. And then I had that until, well, I still have one. That same console from 2017 is in my living room because I have side by side Xboxes in the living room because my wife plays too. So we game most evenings. Well, after the kids are all in bed, we'll hang out and play some games. And then I have a different Xbox that's up there mounted in the studio, and that's my S series that I have tethered to the PC for game streams.
Okay. Good lord. I mean, isn't that the dream of any guy finding a gamer girlfriend to eventually be their wife and have kids with?
Yeah, it's like pretty fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'll live stream and then be like, all right, hey, do you want to join tonight? And so she'll hop in and getting like epic victory royale, and it's like with your wife live on stream while you're hanging out with your people. It's really cool stuff.
What made you get into content creation? Did you find someone on YouTube or that you just were inspired by, actually?
Mine was purely revenge. So it was revenge for the censorship.
The
So
Facebook
that
post
was
that you mentioned.
it was the Facebook post. That was it. I mean, I was researching stuff, and I basically started to see the cracks in the matrix, as
Oh,
it were. And so I was just like, okay, they lied about this thing. That's weird. Oh, they lied about this thing. And then it turned into like a cascade of, oh my gosh, like the world is barely being held apart by this like gigantic facade of false reality. And let's try to break it. So that was pretty much what my initial reasoning to get into all this was. But I didn't even own a computer before, a personal computer before 2020, maybe it was 2021. Yeah.
you had
So
not owned a
2021.
PC, right?
Yeah, I didn't have a PC. I didn't have a laptop. I had my work computer. I had a work laptop that only had work stuff on it. And so I was like, oh, I need to do this. And so, I actually ended up, I sold my prized possession, my motorcycle. And I tell everyone because they're like, do you still have the motorcycle? I said, no, I sold it. And then the next day took the money I got from it and bought a PC strong enough to fight the Illuminati. And that's what I tell everybody.
So Rumble, how did you discover Rumble actually?
This is interesting story. That's actually because of my wife. So
Mhm.
on Rumble, um, it was absolutely dog water trash when I looked at it first. When I initially looked at Rumble, I was like, this is like a garbage platform. This looks like some teenager made, tried to recreate MySpace. You know what I mean? Like it was that kind of thing. And so she told me, yeah, but you keep getting censored and one day they're going to get sick of your ass and then they're going to like rug pull you and you need to have a backup. So just use it as a backup. And so what I did is for like 2 years, I had all my stuff going on YouTube and all my stuff going on Rumble. And actually, it was probably a year and a half. But in a year and a half, and I told everybody um, with the exact identical content from YouTube and Rumble, in a year and a half, I made like $1.75 on Rumble and 10K on YouTube. And I was like, this is not worth anything. The Rumble. That was my thought process. Now, I stuck with it because it was not hurting me to just have it. And it was a backup. And then Donald Trump gets shot in the ear. Everyone knows about that. So as soon as I found out, I was feeding the twins while my wife was doing something outside. I get a call, like frantic call. Trump's been shot. So I'm like, all right, I got to go take care of this. I come in the studio. I research everything to do with the event, what happened, all the possible conspiracies, all that stuff. And then I go live on YouTube and I tell them, I tell everyone, okay, here's what happened. Here's all the information we have so far. Boom. See you tomorrow. And 2 days later, my channel is fully demonetized on YouTube. Like
That's
done.
crazy.
And then I do an appeal. They immediately deny the appeal. And then I'm just like, okay, like I made a video for the appeal and like I saw it had one view from me who reviewed it. And then they denied my appeal without even reviewing it. It was still one view. And I was just like, you guys are dicks. And so anyway, then I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm demonetized, but I can still go live. I'm just not monetized. So then I go live again and I tell people what happened. And then that live stream gets taken down for hate speech. And it gave me a timestamp for the hate speech. And the timestamp was during my pre-stream banner. Like it was before I even started. And they put that timestamp. And I'm just like, I can't go live here. Like I'm going to lose this channel if I go live. Like I have to curate the content. Right. So then I tell all my YouTube people like, hey guys, this is just what happened. I have this Rumble channel and it has all my stuff on it already. I'm just going to go over to Rumble and then make this, the Thoughtcast channel. So just come follow me over there. So I currently have, and that wasn't even the craziest part of the story. I got hacked January 6th last year, not this past one, but the year before. Yeah. And I lost my YouTube channel. It had 23,000 subscribers, same as it has right now. And so it got hacked. It got completely like everything got deleted. And so I reached out to them and they denied all my appeals. They were like, no, we're not giving it back. We're not, we don't care if it was hacked, basically. And I went through all these processes. And so for 9 months, it was just gone. Like they were just like, nope, double denied my appeals, whatever. Then Jim Jordan from some subcommittee on President Trump's team, he goes all up in the ass of Google over censorship of conservatives. And they are like, oh no, we didn't do any of this. We didn't do anything. Like we're totally on board with the conservatives. We love those guys. The next day, like he had Jim Jordan subpoena them or whatever. The next day I get an email from Google and they're just like, hey, from YouTube. They're like, hey, you tried to appeal this back in the day. We had our team wondering, do you still want that channel? I'm like, I mean, I guess, yeah, I want my channel back. And so they're
Yeah.
like, all right, fill out this page. And I actually had the notepad still with all the info that I had filled in twice on that damn same form for them, which they denied both times. So I just copy pasted the same shit in the same form. And 2 hours later, they reinstated my account with every video back on it that the hacker had deleted and did whatever. I'm just like, you motherfuckers. Like you the whole time could have just gave my 23,000 subscriber channel back. And like it wasn't doing anything for me because it's not monetized. It's like shadow banned and all that stuff. But you do still have like the notoriety that you built to 20,000 K, 20,000 K. And
videos you put your heart and soul into.
Right.
Yeah.
Like thousands of hours of
Yeah.
production value in the content. And I'm just like, I hate you guys, but I have the channel back. So I still post on it now, but I refuse to go live on YouTube. And with Rumble, they got the creator program. I've been piloting software for them for the whole time basically, and telling the devs what's wrong with stuff, and they get to their people and they get it fixed like right away. And I'm like, dude, this is actually getting a lot better. And so now they got a Rumble wallet with crypto. So I can get, I got, and I was actually one of the people, Chris Pavlovsky, a couple weeks ago stopped in when I was doing just a gaming stream, and he dropped $1,500 in crypto on my Rumble wallet, which was freaking nuts.
That's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. So that's kind of my transition with being on YouTube and still on YouTube. I posted 4 things on that YouTube channel today, actually, and went live on Rumble. So that's just kind of how I do it now.
Yeah, because I had some interesting things happen to me on YouTube that I can't speak about, but I will say that I did go to Rumble and I streamed a podcast there that went for about 608 episodes. And then I wanted everything to match up between, essentially, I was like, well, if I'm just on Rumble, X, and Twitch, it's not really going to do me any good. So I did make the decision to come back to YouTube after what happened, because it's like, I can't really make this work because there's just nothing that's going to happen if I keep just doing it this way.
Sure.
Also, I had felt like, I wanted one last hoorah at doing a podcast, because I'm essentially like what Marvel and DC Comics are, reboots and different continuities and all that stuff. I got to a point where I wanted one singleized continuity. Everything else is decanonized. We're now at this show, right? And it's not that I don't like Rumble. It's just a lot of the decisions made, I'm just not jived with very hard. But the main thing I told people is the reason why I haven't streamed there in a while is because I just want discoverability to be a thing that's actually made an apparent thing that they get taken care of. Because for me, I know a lot of other people feel the same way too. It makes no sense creating all this content that, for one, isn't going to be seen, and you're essentially creating it to the point where it's like owning in features, and getting features the only way to get seen. So you're kind of in this like lose-lose scenario where if someone doesn't really, maybe if you're not friends with someone, maybe you're not playing favorites, nepotism, any of that stuff, you're not going to get seen unless you're featured, and your shit's not going to get seen if you just make it regularly. People always told me, interact with the community. I'll be honest, I really don't want to do that, because I'm not really that kind of person, though.
Sure.
Absolutely. I'm someone where, like, if I'll interact with someone, I'll go out of my way to do it. Obviously, I do it for these shows all the time.
Yeah.
But it's not like, and I'm not saying I agree with YouTube on everything. And I don't. I think YouTube has a lot of problems, and I agree with everything you said about YouTube for sure. I 100% agree. My only main problem is that, like, I don't have to interact with the larger communities on YouTube to get people to subscribe to the channel. I don't have to.
Correct.
You get recommended on sidebars. Who knows? You do a good like video, might get 1,000 views, might get some subs out of that. So that's my problem with generally with Rumble at this point now, because I have other issues. But if the discoverability is fixed, I will stream there again, because I did enjoy doing it, right? But I need that fixed, because there's just no point in putting it there other than just having it backed up, which I do now, obviously based on what happened before. The Iron Man podcast is there. All of my previous league streams also was there. Like, even just this year, I'm going to finish uploading all of my game streams and all my game streams and podcasts there. And I'm going to upload all of my pre-recorded content on this channel there. But that's going to be a little bit of time, obviously. But I'm going to make sure it's all backed up there. So whenever Rumble has a better discoverability function, I know I'll benefit from it because I have hundreds and hundreds of videos on there already, pages of content, previous podcasts that's just only exclusive to them. I mean, the Iron Man podcast on here, I brought it back at like episode 500, and I was like, you know what? Nah, let's cancel this. Start from scratch, you know?
Yeah.
So that's all I want fixed is discoverability. If that gets fixed, then I'll stream there again. But until that gets fixed, I'm just going to upload the content there as a backup, which is done wrong. I have no problem putting my eggs in another basket and letting it build up over time, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I was in the exact same boat as you a while ago. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, I was like, dude, this is a waste of my time. It's not going anywhere. YouTube, I have the algorithm. I can make good content. I don't have to kiss anyone's ass and whatever. And I will show you this though, because this is kind of the difference. Let me see if it lets me share this window, because this is basically why I'm there. Okay. So this is my analytics on YouTube. So the last 90 days, I posted like 58 videos and I have a combined negative 47 subscribers from my 22,000 or 23,098. So like every time I post something, it shows it to like 5 people, even though I have that many subs. So it's just like the level of manipulation of the algorithm against you in that situation. I would much rather just have no algorithm and then organically bring people to Rumble, which is what I have to do now. So that's the only issue is YouTube. You can do it all. It's a one-stop shop. You can make your shorts, you can go live, you can make your VODs, and the algorithm will bring like-minded people to you to consume your content to fill their time. On a place like Rumble, it's very similar to a place like Twitch, where you have to make content somewhere else and then have that content somewhere else.
What Twitch used to be, you know, like Twitch started as like Justin TV, like Twitch became big for a lot of different reasons, but the main reason Twitch had a nice push because YouTube wasn't really supporting live streaming as much as they did later on. People would make videos on YouTube saying, hey, I'm live on Twitch, come over and watch me on Twitch. And Twitch got extra people over there just because they just view Twitch as just a gaming platform. They just stream their video games there, because if you streamed on YouTube and it didn't have enough replay watch time, they would straight up, they said this never happened, but I don't believe them. They straight up unsubbed people and punish you in the algorithm if your stream did not have good retention. So if your stream was like 3 hours and only like people and someone watched like 5 minutes, they would punish you for that. It doesn't work that way now. It's changed, but you know, like Rumble, I hope eventually would have that effect where, you know, people go, hey, I'm live on Rumble, come watch me over there, you know. But I don't know if that's a viable, effective strategy in the modern era now. I don't know.
I don't know. I'll be honest too.
And Rumble I don't actually know about being a conservative, right-leaning platform. It's like, does that automatically shoot itself in the foot just from that aspect alone? Like, you know, wouldn't it'd be just better if it was just a streaming platform? It's just a streaming platform, you know, and you can do like, so do whatever you want. But like, I think the moniker of politics automatically will straight up turn a lot of people off. So I mean,
definitely
I don't
does.
know.
I totally agree with that. I'm not because I spend, like I said, half of or more than half the time, Monday through Friday at noon, I go live on Rumble and I talk about politics, the current events, the conspiracies of the day, culture war stuff, which all that ends up kind of being in that bubble of politics. And so if you're not into politics at all, and then you go over to Rumble and you see politics on the page, then you're probably not going to love it. And I know that they are pushing to get more and more stuff in there. The gaming section has really expanded a lot as far as they have ambassadors and they have the creator program to bring other people. Yeah. From what it was like nothing. I mean, it was absolutely nothing. It was to the point where when I started gaming on Rumble like a year ago, just adding a couple of gaming streams on my channel, I was in the top like 5 on Rumble in the gaming section every time I went live as the news guy. And I'm just like, this this is very low traffic. Now I don't really hit that unless I'm really lucky, because they got a bunch of gamers in there and that's what they do. And that's like where they live the whole time.
Yeah.
Um,
And they
and
even made a
now,
Twitter account for gaming on Rumble too. I don't know
yes,
if it even followed me. It followed me way back in the day. I might have unfollowed me because I was very critical of Rumble at a single point. But I remember it was retweeting and promoting people quite consistently. You know,
right,
I don't know if it still does that, but I remember it stopped at a single point. And I like people gotta understand when it comes to all this stuff. I'm not saying I deserve anyone's view or anything like that, but you know, the platform has the incentive to bring people there. Then the content creators have the incentive to keep people there as far as
correct.
like, you know,
Yeah,
being you to watch the stuff. So I feel like if Rumble wants to get further and further and further down to a point where it's more people are going to come over here, it has to be a point where you go, yeah, we have our own specific conservative, you know, viewpoints, but that shouldn't be the actual thing you lead off of with, because that's just going to turn people off. The approach just needs to just be a whole lot more different, because if they don't bring people over as just what their platform can be, you can't benefit. That's why people get mad when they're not featured, because well, the only way to get seen is to get featured. So you're stuck in this like weird kingmaker system that everyone's
right.
doing,
Oh, I
you know?
definitely understand that. Yeah, from my side, because I have, my community is the Free Thinkers Rebellion. So we're kind of like a group that is also a collective lone wolf. You know what I mean? Like I don't fit in the boxes. I piss off this group and this group and this group.
Mhm.
And so people are like, oh man, like he's here again. And so, so I don't really worry about that kind of stuff as much, but I definitely understand the lack of organic new viewership. And so I have to actively work outside of Rumble to try and pad those numbers. I'm 100% understanding of the criticism of it, and I know that it gets a stigma as a right wing podcasting spot because some of the biggest podcasts and live streams in the world happen on
Yeah,
Rumble every day.
Dan
So it's like,
Bongino came
yeah,
back. That's gonna be
Bongino's
big.
about to be next a couple weeks from now, and Tim Pool's on there now. The Quartering's on there now. Steven Crowder's on there now.
They have that one
Russell
lady.
Brand's on
I forget
there
her
now.
name. What's that one lady? I forget her name.
You
She
talking
looks like
about
she's
hate
she looks like she's Asian, older Asian lady.
older Asian
I forget
lady?
her name a lot, but she's on there.
She's on there. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people on there. And so it's fine. I don't really beef with them. Like I said, there's definitely a lot of viewpoints that I'm way different than a lot of the conservative sphere on
Mhm.
Rumble. And so I even had issues with some of the community where they were like they wanted to work with me and then they wanted to police me and to work with me. And I'm like, I'm very happy to just be by myself and then do my stuff my way and run my chat the way I want to run my chat, and I'll ban the people I feel like banning and allow the chat I feel like allowing. And yeah, some people like they want to come over to your hood and then impose their rules, and you're I'm like, you don't do that with me. Like this, I'm on Rumble because I got kicked out of everywhere else. Like you think you're gonna come tell me what to do, like here on the free speech platform? So it doesn't really work for some people, but for me, I have the vested interest in the pure free speech platform. That's why someone like a Nick Fuentes, who's on there and has a massive channel on there and following on there, like I don't agree with a lot of the stuff he says. Some of the
Yeah,
stuff I'm like, oh, that's perfect,
but
perfect,
he
perfect.
is a
And then
net
you're like,
benefit to Rumble. That's the thing, though.
yes,
It's like a
oh yeah,
double.
he is.
He is a net benefit to Rumble because him being as big as he is, as far as like this type of sphere of the internet,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna drive people there, right? And I
Yes.
feel like it's so disgusting for him not to be able to have a YouTube channel. Honestly, I don't
Yeah.
agree with that. I,
I
I yeah,
I totally agree.
it,
Vivek Ramaswamy like wrote a letter to Google, and I was like, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Vivek. I think he's like an Indian scammer, but he
as they,
was,
yeah,
but
yeah,
he did tell him, he was like, hey, look, Google, you should let the guy have a channel and say what he wants to say. Like, I know
yeah.
he doesn't like me. I'm not his biggest fan, but like you're shooting yourself in the foot by not
Mhm.
letting him and Alex Jones have a show. Like they should be able to have a channel on YouTube. That no reason not to.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, because the good thing that Rumble does provide as an entity to exist is like if anything does happen, at least it's not curtains. At least it's not lights out and it's
Yeah.
you're done.
It's a
But
backstop for you,
yeah,
for sure.
but the thing is, even a backstop can be improved upon. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
like the thing that you had just said about people coming into your like live stream and trying to police what you think and say, and it's just like that's another problem I have too. It's like there's these people on Rumble. It's not even a specific person. A lot of them do this. It's like this is our last ditch effort, so I have to defend everything the company does, even though the same logic wouldn't apply for any other company. So they would criticize a bunch of other companies that do bad stuff like Disney, Warner Brothers, any major corporation like Amazon,
Sure.
Microsoft, Twitch, YouTube. All of them can get criticized, and
Mm-hmm.
the same way we would talk in the conversation right now. But
Yeah.
if Rumble messes up and does a bad thing, it's like, no, we got to excuse and all. It's like, well, that makes you a hypocrite. You don't want to know why? Because
Oh sure.
if you're gonna talk about this company and these companies all in the same way, and you tell it like it is, like people say these days, if Rumble does the same shit, you can't just be like, well, it's excuses. Like that's not how that works. I get there's nuance and gray area to everything. I understand that, but just the general
Sure.
principle that, like, one of the recent things they rolled out with ads, deployment Rumble Premium is so you
Mm-hmm.
don't have ads. It's like YouTube Premium. Very, very basic concept. You have
Yeah.
Rumble Premium, you get ads. Then they have you do ad reads. Okay, so you have Rumble Premium to not have ads, and the people that are watching are going to read you ads. But then people masked that and went, no, but it's fine though. It's like, it's not fine. I pay for this, so I don't see that. And if you're doing it on stream, that's gonna be like, what the fuck? Yeah, of course you can make it funny and all that stuff, but just the general principle
Sure.
is like not
Yeah.
being upheld,
Well, I think that for one, I think that there are people that bootlick Rumble. I'm just going to say that out loud.
yeah,
Like
sure, yeah.
absolutely, like grossly, pathetically bootlick Rumble.
Gotta get those
And
features, man, somehow.
right, and they're trying to get features, and I'm like, it is what it is. Do your thing. But I will say, I don't think Rumble likes or respects those people the most. I
I
think
don't think
that
they do
they
either. They're just useful
because
idiots. I always
yeah,
call people
it's
useful idiots. There's always going to be that person that sucks off someone only for the aspect of getting something out of them
yeah,
in a purely transactional relationship. But the person that's doing all that dick sucking, they know what they're doing. But the person that is going to be the person getting all that attention, it's like they're like, okay, cool.
yeah.
Like these
Well,
people aren't getting invited to like the White House when Chris Proflowski goes. You know what I mean?
correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
none of that stuff. And
People
so
out
the
here dick
people
sucking for free.
no, they are right. I mean, it's rough, but it's 100% accurate. And so the point is, to the point you were just making,
Mhm.
the thing with the ad reads, like for me, I told the people, I was like, look, I'll read exactly 5, and I'll do the ones for Rumble Premium, because the whole point is I'm getting paid off of Rumble Premium. I want you
Sure.
to join Rumble Premium. So I'll do Rumble Premium ads 5 times a month, which 5 times a month when I do 60 hours of content like live streaming, it's not jack shit.
Yeah.
But enough people had the same comments as me, like, I don't want to do this. The whole point is I want them to be on with me and then not have ads. And so they switched it. They were like, all right, people have spoken. Now we want 5 raids a month. So raid out your show to someone else to kind of help grow the community and put eyeballs on another channel instead of the ad reads. And people are like, that's great. I do freaking 20 raids a month anyway. So I need 5. I get it done the first week. And then it's just like, whatever. So to me, with the whole you said the kingmaker strategy, or the content creator, not content creator, sorry, the Rumble creator program, the way that they've done it.
Mhm.
I've been in it the entire time, this round, this like 10 months or whatever. And the only thing I wish is that it was harder. Like, I wish that they made it significantly harder, and then less people qualified, and then less people split the pot of money. Like, that's pretty much what I would
That was
prefer.
another thing too that I got angry with. It wasn't just because I remember back. You remember back when Rumble used to just have like the thing for smaller creators, and you would get featured. on like a dedicated page on the homepage where they have all these smaller creators. Remember that before they
I think that
program?
was probably like mostly before I started into Rumble. I
Yeah,
was probably already posting there, but I wasn't live streaming on
yeah. So
Rumble at
they
that
had
point.
something similar with that before,
Mhm.
but that had a lot of problems with it. And I don't know how I didn't get in it when I literally met every single criteria and way more beside and way more in their criteria too. The creator
Mhm.
program for me is it's when Chris had that tweet and he was talking about bringing value to the platform and all that stuff, it sounded like this guy was completely out of touch with how people actually podcast or people do a stream, right? Because I remember the tweet and it was something worded along the lines of bringing value and getting more viewers and watching and all that stuff. But because you remember on the Rumble Creator Program, they changed it to having like 10 concurrent, 20 concurrent viewers and all that stuff. Well, some of those guys might be view botting. I don't know. View botting happens on every big platform.
Oh
So that's
yeah.
not just Rumble, right?
Yep.
Even on Kick, it happens a lot too. But the
Mhm.
thing is, like, someone having 5 viewers and those dedicated 5 viewers, which is fine. Someone having 10 dedicated viewers, which is fine, is no different than a person having 100K dedicated viewers. Yeah, one does bring you more value. That is perfectly fine. But not
Sure.
everyone is going to have a 100K stream. Like, guys, I understand. We're doing this right now. There might be like 5 people watching, maybe less than that. There's no one or right way of doing these things. You get very little people watching, or you get a lot of people watching. Some days it always ebbs and flows. But I don't get this logic of just because this person has less viewers than that person, that makes their stream worse. When it's like they're doing the same shit, you're just talking to a microphone. You're doing the same shit. There's no difference. It's just one person just has more viewers by almost complete. All this is luck, honestly, for being completely honest here. Getting more people to watch your shit. It's all luck. So, like
Yeah, I
when they
mean,
make
I don't
the
know about all that. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's luck. If you're pimping yourself out on the internet and you're putting in the work and grinding out and basically developing relationships with your audience third person and then building that audience and that community
yeah,
different
yeah,
ways. I mean that's essentially or eventually that's when you're getting calls for sponsorships and stuff, is them saying like, hey, we see you have this community that follows you and that you have some influence over, so we want to show our product to your community through you.
yeah.
So that's all Rumble is trying to turn into, is a sponsor for somebody with a
And
with a
I agree
community.
what you said about the creator program. I think there's too many people in it. I think
I
the reason
agree.
why they have to
Yeah.
lessen payments is there's too many people in it. I remember this big drama that happened with another creator that I talked to on the show a long time ago. And it's like, hey,
Mhm.
he might be saying some harsh things, but he is right. If there's too many people in it that aren't meeting the watch hours, then it's going to hurt other people because now you
Correct.
get less money because
Yes.
of this person being there. And this person, I remember, yeah, this person had a little bit of a mental, or sorry, an aspect to them. He was like autistic or whatever. But I
Mhm.
remember him saying like, "Oh, hey, can you guys watch my stream? I need to meet these watch hours before the creator program requirements end because it's a whole month-to-month thing." And I was trying
Yeah.
to tell this person, I'm not trying to be mean to you, but if you have to beg people to watch your shit, that means they weren't watching in general. They're not
Yes.
watching in general. That's just what that is, right?
Yes.
I don't beg anyone to watch my shit. You watch, you don't. It's just it is
Yeah.
what it is. I truly couldn't care one or the other way. But if
Right.
you're someone where you have to ask for this every month, hey, watch my stuff so I can stay in the program, I don't know how sustainable that is. And doesn't that person kind of take away from you being in it?
Yes. Oh, it does. Yeah. I mean, I've had the same sentiment where I've seen this kind of happen over and over again, because what they do is they've continually, in order to avoid bots, in order to avoid people using copyright content, in order to avoid people doing like dumb 24/7 streams of like a news replay or some shit, they've continually added more and more metrics to
Mhm.
weed out the lower quality content. And it's funny seeing like Chris embarrass somebody because they're like, why didn't I get in again? I hit everything. And it's like, you did a sleeping stream. Like your stream was up for like however many hours and you were literally asleep for most of it. Like we watched you. And then when you weren't asleep, you had cartoons playing that were like 100% copyright, like just as the stream. And so, you know, I 100% agree. I think it should be harder and then less people go in. So when I see people that are like barely making it and begging for help to get the last bit
Yeah.
way, I'm just like, dude, you should work on your content for 6 months and then reapply. Like you should because you can have a channel no matter what. Like you're saying, if there's a couple people watching or less or like whatever, it doesn't matter. And you can have that channel. No one's saying you can't have that channel. Yeah. But being in like a paid creator program, you know, that didn't happen for me when I started YouTube. You know, I was busting ass for like 9 months before I got a penny and invested thousands of dollars in equipment and infrastructure and all that. And it's like, I put an insane amount in first before I got anything at all. And then you start getting like tiny bits. And if you add it all together, like you're still less than minimum wage if you're, you know, going in like substantially less than minimum wage going in. So anyway, then I get to Rumble, and the creator program announced like 2 weeks, or not even, it was within a week.
I remember,
of my YouTube channel getting deleted, hacked and deleted. And I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. You know, that's where I was. My whole shit got hacked and deleted. It's gone. 5,000 hours of work. Poof. Thanos snapped.
I know how you feel.
And then like a couple days later, it's like, hey, we have a Rumble creator program popping up, you know, like if you want to try it out. And so I'm like, well, that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to win. Like, I don't even know what the qualifications are. I'm going to triple them.
I remember when they announced it. Yeah. And the reason why I wasn't going to do it, because to be fair, I don't do this for money anyway. So I already have a job. But for me, I wasn't going to do it because you had to stream through Rumble Studio. I don't want to do that. If my people know this about me, I'm very peculiar with stuff on here. Like, you know, the audio thing before we have it. I want things to be a very good experience for someone when they watch. This might be their first episode they're watching. I don't know when you're going to watch the show or how it's circulated on the internet, anything like that. I want someone to have a really good experience. My show starts lagging, I'm throwing that shit in the trash. I'm deleting the entire thing. I'm not keeping that up. That's horrible, right? So when they said Rumble Studio was going to be the requirement and you can't use StreamYard, I'm like, well, I can't join anyway. And I'm not switching from that to that. I'm just not going to do it. You know, latency is still a problem from what I heard. I heard it's gotten a little bit better, but people's streams freezing and all that stuff, that's not good when you're trying to keep people watching your streams. Freezing up, people dip. People might say that the most loyalist person knows that stream freezes, you're out. You're just fucking gone.
Definitely.
Fucker don't mean shit to you at that point, you know? And then I remember, because that was just the main thing. It's like, I can't use Rumble Studio right now in its current type of functionality. If it gets better and there's no freezing or latency problems, I'll entertain the idea. But right now, no, I can't, you know? But I remember people going absolutely crazy over those requirements. And, you know, I agree to a certain extent. If you want the best of all of it, you have to challenge people, you have to do all that stuff too. But, you know, at the end of the day, people gotta understand, if you're not getting as much viewership, it's not even just you. It feels very competitive, and Rumble just doesn't have a lot of people watching it. So it's just that's knowing these things, you know?
Totally fair. I think that it's just like people have different mindsets with it. Like you said, for you, it's for the love of the game. Like, you want the content to be great, you're putting it out. It doesn't matter ultimately like the exact number that are watching. Like, that's not the point. Like, you have a passion and you're putting out your passion, and that usually is the best way to go about it, for sure. I think with Rumble, some people, I think they thought that the program should be for them when it's not for them. And that was a big issue. For one, all of the gamers, as soon as they said you have to use Rumble Studio, that, in my mind, when I looked at it, I'm like, okay, all of the gamers are basically ixnayed from this program because it will make your stream garbage. Like, it will make your stream garbage. You don't have the frame rate. Like, it's not going to encode it to be any good whatsoever. And all these gamers were like bitching about it and saying, oh, well, you know, it's not good enough yet. And they're like, no kidding. Like, it's not for you yet. You know, we're building. And so like 3 months later, we have it switched to where they have the direct RTMP, and you could sync it right with your OBS. And like, that's how I run all my shows now. I mean, even on this I'm rocking my OBS on the virtual camera because I can do all the shit that I want to do whenever I want. And
you're in the future.
You know, I'm in the future, man. Like, I'm doing this stuff however I want, wherever I want. And like, people, they weren't ready for it. You know, it's like these people who hadn't built up any kind of infrastructure or any kind of content for themselves. And then they were upset that they weren't going to be able to hang in like this creator program, and they're blaming Rumble for it. And it was like they said right at the beginning, we're going to be evolving as we find problems. We'll fix problems. We'll take feedback. So the
Right.
people at the beginning are the pilots for the program. And like for me, I was like, great. In my old job before I did this, one of the things I did was test and like stress test new software and then work with the devs and tell them, hey, this is broken, this is broken, this is broken. This would be a good, quality of life fix, whatever. And then they try to fix it, and then I test it again. And so I'm just like, that's what I did with Rumble. And they fixed probably half a dozen things that I specifically talked to them about. And month over month over month over month, that program is getting better. So, and I'm not saying it's for everyone. It's still not for everyone. And I hope it's not for everyone because it splits the pot too many ways.
Yeah.
But it is so much better now. And I think the whole platform is so much better now than it was 6 months ago, or the 10 months ago when it started. It was clunky and garbage. That using Rumble Studio, having the freezes, the lags, the long latency time. And like for me, the way I operate my streams, I have like basically, because it's a one-man show, the chat is in the show. And so I'm just reading, having a conversation with the chat. I go through whatever thing. And once in a while I have to dodge what was on my sandwich for lunch and try to scan for stuff that's relevant to what I'm talking about. But it mostly works. But yeah, it's just that's it.
Yeah, and I think I don't know how many people are in the Rumble Creator program. I don't know how many. It has to be like 20, maybe 30 people max, probably, thinking about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that it was like 150 or 250, and then they started nerfing a whole bunch of them because there was a bunch of copyright content and just like really low quality streams. And there's the bots. And so now the requirements, actually I could pull, hang on a second. Let me pull what the requirements are just so you have that inside baseball. But on it, you have to stream using Rumble Studio, which the Rumble Studio has the direct RTMP. So you can just have the pass through to StreamYard, to OBS, to whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you use that for 30 hours a month. You need unique chatters. You need 20 unique chatters throughout the entire month.
That's the biggest
for a
problem.
bunch of people. Yeah.
Because that's the one where it would kill people, because just in general, I think because on Twitch, the minimum you need is 3 average people, 3, and that is to get like affiliate and gifted subs and all that stuff.
Oh no, this isn't average. It's saying the total number that have ever said anything throughout the month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because I was comparing. It's like Twitch, a platform that you need 3 minimum people and you can get all these benefits. Rumble's asking for almost double that. 10 unique, you said 10, 20 unique chatters. I don't know how people are getting that. It's insane.
20? Wait, but I'm saying this is 20 people like just saying anything in your chat at all in a given month, like through the whole month.
Yeah, so would that count for like the same person doing it? No, wouldn't.
No, it's unique. So just 20 total different people saying something.
I'm already losing on that one.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's fine. I think that the expectation is probably a big part of the issue with that, because people, like, if you can't get with your community audience or whatever, if you can't get like a couple dozen people just to like acknowledge that your stream exists in chat, then I just don't think at that point you should be trying to go for some kind of like higher tier
I agree.
Association with the platform. At that point, you're casual, and there's nothing wrong with being casual. But I think that there's people that feel like kind of WNBA syndrome, where they're like, I should be earning what these people are earning. And it's like, nobody's watching you though. Like nobody's paying for the tickets. There's no eyeballs on this. They can't pay you to sponsor for no eyeballs. Like it's a math equation. So I think that's a big part of it too.
Yeah, for me, I was just comparing on the aspect of like, because you need 3 on this platform where that would put you in like, I don't know, a certain the highest percentage to be there. And this one is asking for double that with less people potentially watching, less eyeballs. It gets into that like, you know what? Guess we got to start doing OnlyFans content, man. We got to start showing our asshole for $9.99.
Dude, that's crazy. Listen, no, this is like good information. I've never heard a breakdown like this. I have 1,000 followers on Rumble, right? Like
Yeah.
1,300 followers on Rumble. And so far this month, because I have the thing open, you're required to get 20 chatters that are unique, and I have 110.
Good Lord.
So that's why I'm like, I don't understand. I'm like, how is 20 impossible for people? Because there's a lot of people that have said very similar stuff to what you're saying, and I'm just like, I'm not comprehending it. But I do have like a almost, I mean, it's not cult, but it's a very passionate following of people in the Freethinkers Rebellion that come and kind of hang out in the chat. It's a very highly engaged chat throughout the really just exploring what's going on for the day.
Because I know I mentioned luck earlier, but another aspect I could mention is some people just like, I know people don't want to admit this ever. It's something that I always tell the truth and the reality of the situation, no matter what it is. Yeah. I think potentially people like other people more for whatever reason. That's how humans have always functioned. And it functions very similar in streaming. Like when someone having like more viewers watching their stream, someone could just like someone more. That sounds very shallow, but that is
that's normal. That's normal. Yeah. Hey, have you seen the like female streamers that are hot? A lot of people like them more. Like that's not. I got to deal with it. It's fine. I'm just like, hey, you know what?
That's why I told people, if like you have a stream that has less people watching, they might not. Don't think it's offensive. When people are watching, this is nothing against you. No. People just might like someone else more than you.
Absolutely true.
And you can't fix that. That's just how humans have functioned for like ever since we've been alive as people. Right. So the only other way you can make yourself stand out is, I don't know, you could just share your asshole for $9.99 or
right. I have an OnlyFans, but I've never made a penny from it. So I was like, I retired from that. Backstop. Humble.
Go IRL. Do IRL streams and act like a fucking retard.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've seen some of that stuff. I'm like, dude, I can't believe that this even exists.
And we live in that kind of world, because like, how else are you going to get viewers without doing stupid shit? Because like in this kind of way we're doing it, people like other people more. You don't get anything. You're kind of fucking screwed. Or you just do IRL shit and just say stupid shit. You go up to a black guy and you call him the N-word, and you just get 1,000 viewers. Like,
dude, my sister actually sent me a video she took of it was some guy who was literally schizophrenic that did that. He just like was like irate and crazy and screamed the N-word. And then she got like 900,000 views on that video. And I'm just like, what? She said that the news was trying to contact her to like have an interview. And I'm like, what? I'm like, are we that starved for real racism that we need to like have the literal padded cell guy who screamed obscenities? Like we have to have a struggle session over how like destroyed the community is over that event. I'm like, this is like kind of crazy. And then I'll make like 30 hours of editing to make some skit video where it's like 10 versions of me in different disguises with different amounts of facial hair and like, 1,000 views. And it's like, this is nuts.
Because I'm looking at the dashboard. I think things have gotten a little bit better, because I just upload the content regularly. They need a better ad revenue stream for people that just upload pre-recorded content there. Literally, I put out I don't know, one of my podcasts that'll be like an hour 30 minutes long. You earn a penny. So for an hour podcast, hour plus podcast, not just a single hour, almost 2 hours, you make 1 penny.
Right. Yeah. That's what happened with the first year and a half before I started going live on Rumble. So once I started going live on Rumble, you get this people dropping subscriptions. They added
Yeah.
the rants. They added the gifted subs.
Oh, you
Now they
got
have all
that?
the
I got.
crypto.
I didn't
Now
get
we
any of
have
that
the
shit.
now we have
Yeah.
the Rumble wallet integration and the and there's a locals integration. So if you have
Oh,
like
you're
a
right. Yeah.
locals community, so I had the locals community before any of that stuff. When I started the streaming, I had Buy Me a Coffee, Patreon, and then I made a locals and tied it to Rumble. And then my supporters that were my supporters already on YouTube just were migrating over because I got freaking demonetized. They froze all of those channel subs and we're just like, nope, no more channel subs, no more ability to drop donations, no more anything. And I mean, I remember I told Rumble, I was like, hey, you need to let people freaking donate. You need to let people
Yeah.
gift subs. You need to let people like do all this stuff. Like if you can monetize in the way like all these other places monetize, you can get a little bit of a split of that and make money. And all these people will say, oh, well, I can play games and not get freaking censored. I was playing Fortnite with a friend of mine who worked for the RFK Jr. campaign when he was trying to run for president. And while we were playing, he said some stuff, which I'm not going to say right now,
Yeah.
that's 100% true and not really offensive at all about medical stuff. And then the next day I go live and it's like, your account's locked for a week. We're deleting your video, your VOD of that live stream because, you know, this was said. Now, you know, a year and a half later, that substance, which was in another substance, RFK had removed from certain substances officially, like as a presidential move, you know, and I'm just like, that was true back then, but they censored me and kicked me off the platform for a week because of it. And so some people, like for me, I'm on Rumble because I can say absolutely whatever I want. And as long as it's legal, no one's coming for my ass.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then
I gotta
two
worry about copyright
is
strikes,
I'm
copyright claims.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, now the copyright, I think that they have some way of dealing with that. Like if you're a serial offender, like if you're just playing movies outright or something,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, but it's a case by case basis thing. It's not something like AI that's just screwing you over every time. If somebody farts and it sounds like Metallica, like your stream gets taken out. Like that's the way the YouTube AI works. But yeah, with Rumble, it's very able to just be free speech. And then from my side as well, it's the monetization. If I can get people there and I have people who care to support me, they can support me on Rumble using Rumble's mediums, and they're not going to mess with me if I, you know, go against the establishments in some way. So those two things are like why I will always be critical when necessary and then ask the people like, hey, this is stupid. This is a problem. Fix this. And then enough times they fix it that we have a way, way better platform than we did 6 months ago. So that's where I'm at with it.
And last few things, Lashman, before we head out, which is the
Sure.
first thing is, do you have anything planned coming up that you would like to let the audience know about before we head out?
Oh man. Let me think. Well, I know that I had switched. I actually recently switched my my home on Rumble from I was on news and politics, and I switched to podcasts and just chatting. I know this maybe doesn't matter to the average person, but for me, I didn't really know where my home was because I talk about current events, I talk about conspiracy theories, I talk about culture war stuff. I do all these memes and crazy videos and skits, and then I'm also a gamer. And so I'm just like, I'm not really in the like stick up the ass conservative group that just like does the news all day. You know, like I don't fit in with that group. And there's so many low quality streams in those areas that still get way more viewership than me because it's on some geriatrics TV at the home in the background, that it puts me on like page 6 or 7 in some of those categories. So I'm like, it's not worth my time to try and fight that. I have a very legitimate just chatting stream because it's just a constant running chat and I talk to it. And then It's a podcast. It's a Monday through Friday, 12 Eastern time. I do the podcast on Wednesday nights. I do deep thoughts, and sometimes I'll have a guest. Sometimes I'll have a panel. Sometimes I'll just go really deep into more specific subjects. But that's my Wednesday night. And then Friday night and Sunday night, I have my gaming streams, which as of now, I lock to premium only because everybody who comes to my gaming streams is already either a moderator, a channel member, or somebody on Rumble Premium. So I haven't lost any of my main people that come through there by making that premium content. So now it's just bonus content for the community, basically.
Hell yeah, man. Glad you've been able to have success with being on Rumble. I will say, I think I've been doing way better just uploading my VODs than streaming. So, I'm gonna stick with that for a little bit until the discoverability's at least where I think it should be at. Last thing I'll ask you is, do you have any shout outs you can give to anyone in particular, and anything else you want to say before we head out?
Oh man. Want to give a shout out. You know what? Actually, yeah, I'll give a shout out to Pudge TV. He's over on Rumble. He's one of the ambassadors. I met him very briefly at DreamHack Atlanta. I went there. While I was there, I actually got to go live at the Shore booth for a couple hours, which was awesome because I lost my voice completely. I got sick in like the last couple days of being sick. I was like, oh man, I just got to get better for DreamHack because I'm going to go talk to everyone from Rumble who's coming from all over the country. And then like the last thing that happened as I got better is I completely lost my voice. And I was like, I'm going to a convention where everything's like turned up to 11. I had to be the uncomfortably close person to like get all up on people. It's like, hey, I know we met like 3 seconds ago, but I'm Jeff. It's good to meet you. I'm also 6'4". So like for me, getting like I'm like really like encroaching into people's space and acting like a weirdo. And I'm like, man, this sucks. But Pudge TV, he's somebody who is very supportive in the community and an ambassador that we can bitch to about whatever with Rumble. And then he can kick it up to product development and really help out. So I appreciate him and what he's been doing with that community for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, there's some people that do suck Rumble off really badly, but you do somewhat need these people because as much as people don't like these people, much they don't say they even want them around them, there is value in someone just, making that connection of just being the absolute teachers. What was the concept of the teacher's pet? Yeah.
Yeah, the teacher, there's definitely some of that with the teacher's pets. And some of them are worse than others.
A lot of
a lot of
Lord.
Have you heard of the concept of a soccer player?
Not that one. No.
Okay, so the concept of a soccer player, you might like this. So when you're younger, I played soccer for a couple years, so it's funny anyway. But you'll have that friend who plays soccer who's your friend, and you're friends with them and they're really cool, but none of their other friends are cool. Like none of them. And so the code word for that is, oh, they're a soccer player. So it's like that's somebody who's like, they're okay, they're cool to be around, but I'm not associating with anyone else in their crew. Like they all suck, whatever. So some of the people like that are like the soccer players where you're like, hey, you're cool and you're my connection up there. But I'm not really in your crew, so to speak. You know what I mean? So that's definitely a thing.
As much as people say they don't like this, a lot of people do like the aspect of a super fan who's just dedicated to them in some weird parasocial way. It's so weird on the internet how that's always been a freaking thing. I hate parasocial people. They're the absolute worst. But I just want to say thank you to Jeff D for coming on for his first appearance on the MSK show. It was great talking to you, man. Just want to tell you guys, thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK show, and we're going to see you guys later. Have a great